What is going on, man? This is Patrick James, and I give you raw dating advice that your mother would never approve of. And in today's video, I'm gonna be teaching you how to get out of that dreaded friend zone. And trust me, I know exactly what the friend zone feels like. I lived there for a very long time. So what I found is there's two places where men mess up all the time. These are the two turning points in any interaction with a girl where you're gonna get put into the friend zone or she's gonna fuck you, all right? So here's a little story to kind of demonstrate this. When I was 21 years old, I was a virgin, and I didn't lose my virginity until 2 weeks before my 22nd birthday, and here's how I lost it. So back in the day, when I used to live in this place called the friend zone with all the girls that I liked, I had this really shitty belief, all right? And this belief was the fact that I could not curse in front of girls that I liked. Now, if you know who I am, if you watch any of my videos, you know this is absolutely fucking ridiculous because I cuss all the damn time. But for some reason, whenever I got in front of a girl that I thought was cute, or I deemed her as one girl that I like and I really want to stick my dick inside of her, I would purposely censor myself because I felt that if I let her see that side of me, I felt that if she heard me say the F word or if she heard me say any curse words, she would go, "That's an asshole, I don't want to be with him." All right, that was literally how I thought. And it was completely backwards, and here's why. So one day I was sitting in a class. It was like some kind of English class at my university, and I was telling this story about how I got really drunk the weekend before, and I was talking to the person next to me, and I dropped the word fuck really loudly. And I remember I didn't even notice this girl was sitting there listening to me tell this story from, like, you know, catty corner to me. Because if I did notice that, I wouldn't have said that word. I would have said fudge or something retarded like that. And I remember I instantly, like, at the same time that I noticed she was there, I also realized, like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that because that's a girl, right? And her eyes instantly lit up. Like, she was zoned into my story. So I remember I finished the story and I didn't say anything to her because I felt awkward afterwards. But here's where it gets good. So that night, it was a Friday night, I was at a house party with my buddies and we were drinking and we were playing cards or some card game, some card drinking game. And I remember this girl from my English class walks in with her group of friends, and she instantly remembered who I was. She instantly remembered, oh, this is that guy who was telling that crazy story and got really into it in class today. And I remember she was following me around all night. I literally had zero game at this point, but that just goes to show that, you know, sticking out and not seeking reactions and not changing yourself and being a nice guy can go a long way, because she actually seduced me back to her place and it worked out for me. Like I said, that's how I lost my virginity. So what's the moral of this story? What's the lesson you can get out of this story? All right. Up until that point in my life, the friend zone was a place I lived. All right. I had permanent residence in the friend zone. I was mayor of the town called Friend Zone. All right. I knew everything about that thing. And when I cursed in front of this girl accidentally, that was enough of an emotional ping for her to seduce me back to her place. All right, I lost my virginity because for once I finally risked disapproval. So here's the moral of the story for you. Risk disapproval. If you are currently changing yourself to appease others, if you are currently changing yourself to make other girls like you, saying like, oh, you like that? I like that too, when you really don't like that shit. All right, when you do things like that, that's when you get friend zoned, and here's why. Because she can tell that you're not being congruent to who you actually are. She feels like you're being fake, and when she feels like you're being fake and you're trying to seduce her, she goes, this guy is creepy. I don't want to be with him. So that's the first place where guys mess up, is they don't risk disapproval enough. They change themselves to appease this girl. All right, so that's the first place. And the second place is, even if you are risking disapproval, you're afraid to make the move, right? Even if you are being polarizing and being playfully challenging and saying all these good lines that maybe you heard from one of my videos or something, if she doesn't know that you have a penis, you're still not gonna sleep with her. And if you wait too long to show her, yep, I'm a man and I have sexual urges, she's going to go, oh, this is one of those guys that I'm friends with, all right? So here's what you need to learn about the friend zone. The only way out of the friend zone is to not only risk disapproval, but to not be afraid to make the move when the time comes, all right? There's always this window of opportunity that pops open, and you can see this sliver of light pop open, and you go, oh, this is the time where I'm supposed to make the move, because now we're looking at each other deep in the eyes, and there's this awkward silence. And if you miss that window of opportunity, that window shuts, and it never opens back up, all right? So the next time you feel like, oh, am I supposed to kiss her? Yeah, she's feeling that same shit too. And don't be afraid to make that move. And if you don't make the move, you're basically fucked. You have a lot less of a chance, let's say exponentially less of a chance, for you to actually sleep with her, hook up with her, make out with her, do whatever you want with her in the future, as long as those things are not in the friend zone, all right? You're gonna get friend zone if you don't make that move. Now, here's a little quick lesson that I've actually learned in all my years of going out and doing field research, is even if you make the move and she rejects your move, so for example, you go in for the kiss and she turns her cheek and you kiss her cheek, that's still good. Here's why. Because now she knows that you're a man with a penis who has sexual urges, and you're not afraid to make the move. You've already passed the 2 checkpoints. She can't friend zone you right there. Either she's going to sleep with you or she's not gonna sleep with you. That's it, all right? So now you are a man who's on her radar. You've risked disapproval. You went for the move, and here's the thing. If you persist for the move, that's when she'll eventually get in. A lot of times I like to think of this, I'm specifically thinking of girls that I'm like meeting in a bar. If I go in for the kiss and she turns her cheek, a lot of times she's turning her cheek because that's her body telling her, I like this guy, but I'm not ready. And you know she likes this guy because she's not like pushing you away and slapping you in the face and throwing a drink at your face and then like running away with her friends, all right? That's how you know she liked it, because she's probably laughing and turning her cheek, or she's like, ooh, not yet, or she's just standing there still talking to you. That's a sign of interest. That's the biggest sign of interest. That's the only sign of interest that you need. And if you can persist for that, meaning that maybe 3 minutes later, after a few more challenging lines and maybe some teasing conversation and playful conversation, you go back in for it, eventually she's gonna give in. Eventually she will be ready, and eventually you will get it in. So moral of the story is the best way out of the friend zone is to avoid it in the first place. And to avoid it in the first place, 1, risk disapproval, and 2, don't be afraid to go for that move when the window of opportunity pops open before it shuts forever. On that note, that was some raw dating advice that your mother would not approve of. And I will see you in the next video. If you liked this message, if you liked this video, give me a like and a subscribe. Leave a comment below with how you're gonna avoid the friend zone from today on, and I will see you next time.
Okay.